So it looks like we have quite a few people on already, which is great. A little bit early. We'll probably give a couple of minutes, I think, Lauren, for everybody to catch up, and then we'll we'll jump in here at about 2 after the hour.
Yeah, it sounds great. All right, we'll give everyone about 1 more minute. If you want to go ahead and head over to the chat in the bottom right-hand corner, it looks like we're sharing where we're calling in from. You can share what college you're at as well if you'd like. And like I said, we'll give everyone another minute or so to sign in here, and then we'll get started. All right, well, it looks like we're at 12:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure others will be joining as we really kick things off this afternoon. But welcome, everyone. We're so glad you joined us for Boardable's Fall Community College webinar today. My name is Lauren Emmons. I'm lead account executive here at Boardable. Today, we're going to be digging into how Boardable is built for community colleges, really to help streamline board meeting preparation, execution, and follow-up, all while, of course, keeping things compliant. So just a few housekeeping items. Just want to note that everyone is muted here today. Please feel free to ask any questions in the questions tab down below. This just kind of helps us keep better track of those questions, making sure that we get those answered for you. Chat is also encouraged. As you can see here, we're sharing where we're calling in from. That's always fun to see. And this meeting will be recorded and will be available afterwards if there's anybody from your team that maybe wasn't able to join us, or if you have to leave early or just kind of would like a copy of it to refer back to, that will be coming over via email after the meeting concludes. All right, so we'll kick things off first with an overview of Boardable, how other colleges are using it to really enhance the board experience. I'm also joined here by Cody Bender, our Chief Product Officer. He's going to take us through Boardable and a demo, really diving into the functionality, how it works, as well as best practices kind of throughout the platform. Some of you may have already met Maddie Wilson, account executive here at Boardable. She works directly with community colleges and really all colleges in general. So you may have met her either virtually or even in person at a recent event, but she'll be assisting with answering questions throughout our time together in the chat. And then we'll wrap up our time together with a Q&A. And really, of course, if you are ready to kind of take things further or want to discuss it any deeper, we'd be happy to schedule time with you afterwards as well. So what is Boardable? Who is Boardable? If you haven't already learned a little bit more already, we're an easy-to-use board management solution, really built to streamline processes, enhance the member experience for not only board members, but also staff preparing for those meetings, and of course, in this instance, members of the public. So making sure that documents and details for the meetings are easily accessible. With a modern user interface that Boardable has and really a big focus on innovation, Boardable is continuing to expand in the community college space. We're based in Indianapolis. We've been around for nearly 10 years, serving over 300,000 board members really throughout the world now. So we do have a specific dedicated nonprofit focus. And so, of course, that encompasses education as well. So as mentioned, we do have many different institutions using Boardable, many different organizations. And so as we continue to grow in the college space, we are really getting a lot of great feedback from our colleges that use Boardable. We really value their user experience and their feedback. And so a lot of their feedback that they've provided has even helped to further shape new innovations, which is really exciting. These are a handful of different colleges that we're partnered with, just to kind of give you an idea, since we do cover a pretty wide variety of type of school and size and all of those things.
Yeah, Lauren, I was gonna say really quick on that last slide. That is just a bare handful of the education organizations that we get to work with. And so there are a lot of similarities between many of them, whether it's a K through 12 school district or a community college or a university. There are clearly differences, and we are definitely always aware of those, but we also look for those similarities as we look for developing new features or looking at different ways to help service these types of organizations.
All right, so addressing unique needs and challenges, obviously with many public-facing schools and colleges, it comes with a unique piece with ensuring compliance on the public-facing side. So educational leaders balance those high expectations and compliance and community trust, which brings a lot of pressure to ensure accuracy without room for error. So just making sure that we can be flexible to allow for last minute changes without interruption to those materials that are publicly accessible. So Boardable really allows for real-time changes if you need to make a change at the last minute before a meeting, but not disrupting the materials that have already been published to the public site. So we'll get into that a little bit deeper. Of course, outdated systems or maybe no system at all really slows the staff down and also creates risk. So I hear every single day about the endless email chains that are passed around, especially scrambling in preparation for meetings. And so, of course, that brings risk with passing files over email. But also that scramble at the last minute can really slow things down. And you want to make sure your board members are prepared and also, of course, meeting that compliance regulation. So really, Boardable just kind of ensures that process is seamless for everyone. So as a recap, Boardable will really help to enhance the overall experience while ensuring transparency to meet those regulations and allow members of the public to be informed. So just kind of recapping on those things, and obviously this is stuff that Cody will cover, but Boardable will help to provide access to all those board materials all in one place. So now anything board related would be found within Boardable. Allows for collaboration cross-functionally with different teams, putting things together for the upcoming meetings, while having the ability to track engagement so you can kind of better understand your board and better manage and prepare for board transitions, because obviously that's something to think about too. So ensuring you have everything in one place. So when a new board member comes on board, they can kind of get up to speed as well. And then just, again, overall experience, really enhancing that for community and board members alike. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Cody. I know that you're all excited and probably anxious to really dive into the platform. So this will provide that firsthand look at some of the key features that'll support your work.
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, and I know you guys are anxious to see a real demo, to see the real software. I am going to get you with a couple of slides along the way. The first one I think is really important, and this is compliance ready from day one. We take this very seriously. We want to ensure that the trust is there between our customers and ourselves. We want to make sure that we're keeping your data safe. We want to make sure that it is accessible for the folks who are on your board or your staff or your constituents. So From day one, we are currently SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. We are HIPAA compliant. We are WCAG AA accessible. So basically the legal standard for the ADA, for example, is WCAG AA. We have many types of roles and permissions. I'll actually talk about that a little bit because we do that somewhat uniquely. We try and make it, Lauren just mentioned the idea of board turnover and transition and people leaving and going and coming. And these are things that can make roles and permissions really difficult. Who has access to what? Should they have access? Can we take away that access or add it? We've got some pretty, I think, elegant ways of doing that and simple ways of doing that that can keep your information safe and in the hands of the people who really need it. We do allow for single sign-on. So both Microsoft and Google, we will allow you to use those sign-on methods to get into Boardable, which, I think everyone knows that getting external folks signing into a system of record can always be a challenge if it's just username and password. So we allow for that as well. And then backend encryption, right? We run on AWS. We run heavy encryption to make sure that your data is safe and secure. So really important slide. A little bit of housekeeping, but it is really critical to show the underpinnings of the features that you're about to see. Speaking of those features, there's some on here that are going to be really sort of, I would say, obvious, right? From a board management perspective, building board packets, building agendas, storing documents, but I would say maybe we do a few things that go above and beyond there. Scheduling meetings, making sure that minutes are taken effectively. All of these are things that I think of as core Boardable. We do these things and we think we do them really well. Some other things that I would add on top of this, and I'm going to show you a wide gamut of things in the product today, but some things I just wanted to call out really quickly. E-signatures and audit trails. So e-signatures are just built in by default into Boardable. So that can be on an individual document. It could be on minutes if you need to get those ratified and signed. And we have that functionality just natively. There's no additional charge for it. It just comes as part of the product. Accessibility, I spoke to that. That'll be one of the first things I show in the demo, just to show you how easy it is. This is a huge focus for us. It is a commitment that we have made consistently. Every new feature, every new part of the product we put out, we focus on accessibility right up front. Our Google and Microsoft integrations. So going beyond single sign-on. So this goes into things like connecting document repositories. So maybe the staff is using Microsoft and they want to be pushing those documents into Boardable for consumption by the trustees. They want to convert those to PDFs to make them part of the agenda. We have that direct integration. We have it for Google. We have it for Microsoft. We also have the ability to sync to external calendars, both for Google and Microsoft. And we have some integrations for video when it comes to Zoom or Microsoft Teams specifically. And I'll show those as well. Last but not least, I do want to call out the fact that we have live streaming. And so live streaming is part of our Boardable video package. It is going to allow you to take any meeting and stream it directly to YouTube or to Facebook. It's as simple as setting up your account and plugging those keys into Boardable. That does specifically go with Boardable video. So I won't be demoing Boardable video today, but if this is something that's interesting to you, if you're having any sort of issues with Zoom or whatever provider you're using and you wanted to evaluate Boardable video as part of the larger Boardable package, live streaming is a feature that comes with it and will allow you to stream your meetings publicly. Two more slides, I promise. First is public site. So this is something that we developed in concert with some of our community college partners. We looked at this and said, we always had the ability to publish a meeting publicly. So any individual meeting could be published. It could go onto a website, but we saw a need to have an entire site that would allow you to have meetings, policies, messaging, be able to have it update automatically so that if you're building meetings and you've marked them as public, you don't have to do anything extra to have those items published to that site. And we did this within the last year. And I would say this is a good time to sort of call out. We are also, in addition to accessibility, we have a real commitment to innovation. And so we continue to invest in the product constantly. We are always building, we are always listening to feedback from our customers, from our partners. And this was a direct result of hearing this from our community college customers and other partners and folks like Lauren. And we went out and we built the public site earlier this year and have it spun up. And we have some organizations using it today to publish their meetings and agendas and minutes for their and policies for their constituents. And I'll demo that as well. And then last, accessibility. There's one real note I want to make on this particular slide. Clearly, accessibility encompasses all of the categories above, right? Navigation, readability, focus. These are things that are part and parcel, and I think critical to being able to use software effectively for those who need that extra help. One note at the bottom of this slide. We are in the process of QAing our latest feature, which is the ability to generate accessible PDFs. So you upload your PDF, we generate an accessible version of that that can be posted to the public site. So this is new for us, but hopefully we can save everyone a lot of time and effort of having to load something into Acrobat or into Adobe, do the work to actually make it accessible, republish it. We want to make a feature that allows you to just go quicker, right? Upload your PDFs. If you want them to be accessible, check the box. As soon as they're done, they'll be in Boardable and they'll be up to the accessibility standard. So that's all I have for slides. So that means I get to do the fun part, which is I get to move to the product. So I'm going to jump over. And I'm just going to show you guys right out of the gate the dashboard. So this is our homepage dashboard. This is where you will land if you log into Boardable today. You can see down the left, we have all of our navigation for all of the pieces that we're going to get into. A couple of things I would call out right away. One is accessibility is on a user basis. So if I come up and click accessibility, I get the tray that slides out and I can actually have profiles. So I can have a loaded profile here, or I could go through and pick any of the things that I really need to make it so that this is useful for me. So if I needed high contrast, I could click the high contrast button. It would change the interface for me so that I can actually do this. And this is on basically every page so that once you've done this, it's set and you'll be able to have the settings that you need and propagate those. You can also help anybody on your board set these up the first time if they need it, or anyone who just says, hey, I'm on staff, I need this extra help, I don't know where to find this. Super easy to do. And we actually have a customer of ours who deals exclusively with the blind, and they've helped us tremendously understand, where to put our efforts and our initiatives around that. So on this dashboard, the first thing I'll just call out is that we have groups. So the concept of groups are really committees. So every board, every committee ends up being a group, and a group is just a mini Boardable. So if Boardable is encompassed of documents and meetings and discussions, polls, tasks, every group has essentially the same thing. So if I click into our board of trustees, you can see really quickly, this looks very similar, but it's limited to only those members of this group. So if you are not part of this group, you do not have access to this. And it's very easy to say, hey, I've got documents in this group for the board of trustees. Someone's no longer a board of trustee. I take them out of membership. They no longer have access to those documents. So it's a really clean and easy and effective way of managing permissions and roles. So you don't have to worry so much about, oh, Cody just left the board, I need to go in and shut everything of his off. Just take me out of the groups that I belong to and I'll lose access to those meetings, those documents. I might still be part of the organization. Maybe I was on a different committee and I moved to the finance committee. Well, you take me out of the first committee and you put me in the finance, and those permissions automatically sort of sync up. So really effective, a really good way to set up your committees and to control permissions on especially documents and meetings. One thing probably the last thing I'll point out on the dashboard is this item here is an organizational message. So right now, the organizational message is very short for anybody that needs to remember it. There's going to be a meeting on November 18th, right? So you want this to hit people right away. Other organizations, we use it for a different purpose. We'll put a mission or a statement or a message from the chancellor, and you can put it right into that particular line. And it's going to be something that everybody sees, and it's totally customizable for yourself. So just something to keep in mind is like you can put whatever you want in there. And sometimes that's just boilerplate text that just maybe informs everyone of who you are and what you do. This for you could be a message that you just want to make sure everybody sees. I'm going to jump to documents next. So documents, I'm going to switch tabs. Documents, this is our document center. So documents, I can start with all files. All files, everything is folder controlled. You can see the date that it was modified, and you can see that we have a few different actions. Now, I'm an administrator, so I have actions for everything, but whenever you see a lock like this, that means that the access is limited. And that access is going to be limited to, in this case, the board of trustees. So there you have multiple ways to manage whether or not someone in a group can have access to a folder or a document or any set of things within Boardable itself. So I come back out to all files. I could, as an admin, I could download this folder to my desktop. So if I needed to go in and review this or I wanted to do some work on it, I could easily do that for any individual document. So I jumped into our demo documents folder. You can see the title, you can see the type. We also have a share document function, and share document is going to come up and it's going to let me share it with any group for sure, but I could also share it with any individual. And what it's going to do, it's not going to send the document itself. It's not going to make it insecure and put it into an email and send it off. It's going to send a link to right here. One thing to note for sure is that if I try and share a document with someone who doesn't have access to it, they won't even show up in the list. So you don't get that spillover where I shared this with Alex, but Alex never should have access to it in the first place. She wouldn't even show up in that particular list. Documents, really easy to get a new document in. All you have to do is click new. You can see that I've got a Google Drive and a OneDrive here and a Dropbox. These are all integrations that are set up. Once you set them up, it links directly to your drive and you can choose files that will come in, very similar to what you see here, where anywhere where there's an icon, you can see Google, you can see Microsoft. You can upload a file directly from your desktop, which happens all the time, or you can create a new folder and bring and then start to pull documents in there as well. One thing about creating a new document, if I was going to upload a file, this particular screen, one thing I'll note is that you can disable downloads. So if you don't really want people to be able to download the document, you can actually see it on this this download is not available for this document. That's one way to control as well, what can leave the building. Clearly they could always, open it and try and take pictures, but at least they're not going to be able to download it. One thing, if I open the document itself, I'm going to share this tab. This is what the document looks like when it's opened. Annotations, public and private. So if you need to make private notes, or if you want to make a public note that's available to anyone who's going to be opening this document, you can do that here. And it's very clear which is which. You can share it from here. You can see who's done what with this particular document, which is always pretty helpful. And then you can always get signatures. And so clicking signatures actually would allow me to add signature fields to this. So if I wanted to add one on page 2, I could add a signature for Sandy on. Once I'm done and I hit complete and send, everyone's going to get a notification that this document is ready for signature. So again, something that we build in directly into Boardable. A lot of folks have to use external software to actually make that happen. We don't. So for us, that's a advantage of being able to keep everything in one place. All right, so now I'm going to go to meetings. So this is the meetings page on the left side. So this is going to show you all of your upcoming meetings. We have a calendar view, which will show you, hey, are there meetings coming up? There aren't any in October, but there are some in November. So you could pull up this calendar view and click into them. For any given meeting, you can clearly go ahead and add. So I can add a meeting here, and it's going to come up and allow me to add a title. I can say board meeting. Obviously, we create a lot of board meetings. Oops. You can add a description. I'm the meeting owner, which means that I'm going to be getting notified. I'll be controlling most of this. What I wanted to call out was a couple of things here, because this should be pretty straightforward, including on the public site. If I click yes, it will be listed. If I click no, it will not. When you can change this for one, but if you say yes, there are stages that will go through before the meeting will actually be published. A couple things I'll call out. Video, we have options for Boardable video, other video, which will allow you to use third-party services like Microsoft and Microsoft Teams and Zoom. This will actually create a meeting for you in those and give you links to those platforms when you're ready. And then invitees, very easy. I think probably one of the easier things that you can do. You can grab a whole group of people, throw them into the meeting. Creating a meeting top to bottom takes usually less than 30 seconds if you know what your date and your time is. So I'm gonna go ahead and discard that. Once I'm in a meeting, so let's say I go ahead into the Board of Trustees November meeting, it's really straightforward to be able to create a new agenda or to work with an existing agenda. So this particular meeting is already very set up. So the Board of Trustees November meeting has a lot in it. Our agendas are really straightforward. So you can come in, you can edit, you can choose any individual item, and you can choose duration, description. You can add all of the text you see here is description. You can attach documents. So you can grab them from anywhere in either Boardable, so anything you've uploaded, or any of your other sources. So you can do it from your desktop. You can attach previous meeting minutes if they're going to be up for review, but it's really, really straightforward and simple to adjust and edit an agenda. The other thing is once the agenda is built and it has documents in it, so as you can see, we've got documents in these sections, you'll be able to build a board packet. So this board packet has been generated. It was generated on the 27th at 10 a.m. If I go ahead and open this thing, I'll share this tab. It actually will come up and show you all of your agenda followed by every single document that's a part of this one. So it lets you essentially build a printable packet for all of your members if they want to review it offline or something along those lines. Very easy, very straightforward. We do allow you to create an agenda from a template. So you can create it directly from a template. So if you set up a template ahead of time, you can come in, start from there, and half the work is already done. The other thing I just wanted to show is that we have collaborators. So you can build a list of folks who you want to work on this particular meeting with you. So you can say, I want these or I guess it's 9 people. I want these 9 people to be able to come in, help me upload documents, change agenda items, move things around. And you can designate that right up front as part of building out your meeting. So one thing I do want to show is another meeting. And in this meeting, as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of RSVPs. We have people who have been designated as voting. We actually built a dashboard that will allow you to see, well, who's actually come in and done these things. So I can see who has RSVP'd. I can see who has said no. I can see that very quickly. So if you had a large board or you had a number of invitees, you can see that. You can see, hey, who's viewed the agenda? In this case, only a couple people have viewed the agenda. Luckily, if you can, as you notice, the meeting is 2 months out, so it's probably not such a huge deal. 4 people of the 8 have looked at the board packet. And then from a supporting document standpoint, only 1 of the 8 have looked at any of the documents. And you would expect that to rise as you get closer. If you get closer to the date of and you feel like, hey, something's not right, people aren't looking at the agenda or the documents, you might want to reach out and just ask to make sure that everyone saw the email. At the bottom, we have a table that shows you essentially who's really super engaged. So Charlie is super engaged in this scenario. Harry and Cynthia less so. Cynthia, you're probably not that worried because she's RSVP'd as a no. She's probably not going to need to be prepared. Harry might be somebody you want to reach out to, or Jeff, because they've really, I mean, Jeff's looked at the board packet, so that's great, but Harry hasn't done anything. And Tammy, definitely you'd want to reach out to because she also hasn't had a chance to do anything yet. I'm going to jump back over and I'm going to show you what the public site looks like. So really quickly, if I jump to the public site. So the public site, when we first start, this is our administrative screen. So the administrative screen is where you control basically all of the settings and you can see what's going to happen or what has happened. So as you can see, Wasim has created a number of items. You can see the next meeting. I could go and look at this back in board management. So I could go to this specific meeting, which we were just looking at So the one we looked at previously, FYI, that would be where it would take me. I can do a site preview and I'll actually jump in there, or I could look at this meeting. I think more importantly, we give you a list of everything that's coming up, what status it's in, when that was published. So we know that there are many requirements around when something can actually needs to be available publicly, usually 48 hours ahead of time. This gives you an audit trail, so you can actually see this. For meetings, you can actually go through and star them, and that will make them a featured meeting. So if you were to click that, now we have 2 featured meetings. This won't matter. This will help if you want to move something up that's later in the queue, where it's not the next meeting coming up, but you want to highlight a couple of them. That's very easy to do. We have filters, we have search, we have sorts. All of these are really effective. And then we also have past meetings, so you can go back and see, hey, when did we send that? We said we did it, today at 12:30. Policy wise, this is the spot where you can manage policies. So you can come in and actually upload or create a new manual. Once you create a new manual, you can then publish these to the public site, which I'm going to show shortly. And then last but not least, this is where you really get to customize. You get to make sure that your site is live. You get to choose an image. So in this case, it's, a sort of beautiful fall scene behind there. You get your logo. You can pick your theme color, so you can tweak this. You can choose your name. Your link that you're going to be publishing is accessible here. So all of this is editable. You can create a welcome message, your address, all of this goes into the footer. You can save those changes. I'll show you what the public site looks like now. So I clicked over. This is what your constituents are going to see. As you can see, I starred this meeting on the right, the December St. Louis Community College Board meeting. On the left, that was already starred, and this is our next meeting that's coming up. I can click into any meeting and go look at the agenda. I can look at the details. I can see supporting documents, anything that is published. So you can work on the agenda all the way up to the point where you haven't published it yet. None of this shows up. None of this is here yet. It's only the name, when it's going to happen, where it's at, etc. Once you publish the agenda, it comes into this screen, and the public can then come in and review, hey, what are they going to be talking about? What are they going to be working on? This is the same for minutes. So when minutes are actually published, you're able to go back in and see those once they are published. Before that, they're private. They won't show up. There's no worries about anything there. If I come into policies, and we only have 2 for this account, but if there were more, there's a whole policies page. I can actually view all of the policies, and I can scroll down and I can click on any of them. I can look up what they actually say. We can add to it. We can add uploads to this. So if you needed a PDF as part of your policy, but all of this is available, including search. So you can search basically anything. So if I was a constituent and wanted to come in and search for something very specific, a very specific topic, I can do that there. So like I said, this is something that we pulled together this year, and we're really, really, really happy with how it turned out. It's very clean. It's very fast. It's super accessible. This is a big step up for most of our customers, and we continue to invest in it. We continue to work on it. As we hear more feedback, this is something that we continue to put a lot of time and energy and effort into. One of the next things I wanted to show, actually, there's 2 more things that I had on the list that I wanted to make sure I showed. One is our minutes. So coming back to that particular meeting, this is back in Boardable. I can see that minutes has been published for this. So if I were to come in and actually look at our minutes, so someone has already started the work of pulling these minutes together, I can go in and actually decide, hey, what do I want? Do I want to change anything? Do I want to look at anything? And so these minutes were started, and we have these different basically objects, and objects that come in, we can grab them simply with just clicking a plus on the screen. And I can choose whatever I really want to do here. And so I can choose, I want a text piece, I want a heading, I want to list a table. I want to add a task, and I want that task to be assigned to folks. So I'm going to put in the task name, a date, and people, and it's going to assign that out. You can do a vote, you can do attendance. And so you can see we've added a few of these already. We added attendance. So when the attendance object is added right at the beginning, you can go through and mark everyone present or not present, and it becomes part of the record. You can do the same thing with voting. So approval of meeting minutes, it was a member vote. Andy said no. Dan said yes. We haven't captured the votes for everyone else. It's very easy and very organized. When you start your minutes, you have basically three options. You have two what we call legacy options, which would be start from the agenda. So you can start directly from the agenda and start to build out your minutes. And it looks something like this, right? We'll come in and you can put the text around it. We have the ability to start from scratch, which again is great because maybe you don't want to go with the agenda. You have a less formal view, or maybe you have a different format that you use that you don't want to start from the agenda. You start from scratch and you build every single section individually. We also have build from AI. And build from AI. So this tab that you're seeing, this is actually from a meeting where we had the transcript because we had the meeting in Boardable Video, and the AI will actually go through and build minutes for you. Now, depending on your requirements, you may say, hey, mine are really, really strict. I can only do it in certain formats in certain ways. Not a problem. This tab is the actual minutes, the editor. This tab is just, hey, what did the AI suggest minutes could look like? You could grab any part of this, copy it, and paste it into the editor and use it. If when you start the editor, you choose the third choice, which is generate from AI minutes, all it does is just start from this and you can edit it to your heart's content. So again, there's some AI here that is meant to be additive. It's meant to be supportive. It is not mandatory or required in any way. And it's usually an interesting thing to look at just to compare notes. Like even if you're not going to use it, it's very, very helpful to compare what are in my minutes. Did I miss anything? As the minutes are edited, it ends up being saved. These minutes have actually been published, so you can see that on the left and up above. My changes do end up in the published version. You also can get signatures, so very similarly to what we did with the document, you can say get signatures, add the folks who you need to have sign this for the next meeting, and you can get your approvals that way. So one of the last things, so maybe this probably is the last thing that I'll be showing today, is what we call our summary and recording feature. And actually, I'm going to open this tab. So this is actually one of my team's meetings. And so we have a summary and recording. So we recorded this meeting. We record a lot of our meetings internally because we want to keep a record of what we were doing. And the interesting thing about it is that AI will actually go through and create a summary. So if you missed the meeting, so let's say, for example, Lauren couldn't be in our product office hours meeting, she could come in and actually look at the summary and see, hey, what did they talk about? What was everything that they got into? In this section, we have key points. So anything that was highlighted as part of the meeting, and we didn't do any of this. This was all the AI that did this work. And I can say just from being in the meeting, very accurate, highly accurate. These were things that absolutely came up as key points during this meeting. And then next steps. So in the lower section down here, you can see that we actually have next steps that we can take, that we plan on taking. And so this is like a one-stop shop for review the meeting, make sure you didn't miss anything. So you have the recording. We actually had two recordings for this one. We stopped it and then started it again. Very common. If you have more than one, you're just going to have two recordings. That's pretty straightforward. And then you have so there's some chit chat at the beginning, which is always interesting, but that's the transcript. Going forward, one thing that we're introducing in the next month or so is going to be the ability to take a transcript from Teams, Google Meet, or Zoom, upload it. Now, you'll have to upload the recording separately because we don't use the recording to generate the transcript. If you upload those, it will generate the same summary, the same key points, and the same action items. And so we'll give you all of the same AI functionality without having to use Boardable Video, because we know a lot of you are tied to Microsoft Teams or Zoom. And so, we're not trying to force a change on those fronts, but we do want to give you this functionality, which is really, really useful. Also, in that case, you would also get the benefit of the AI generated minutes. So if you pull over the transcript, the AI generated minutes would come as well. That's pretty much it for me in the demo. We have a lot of other things that we can cover. If you have questions, please for sure throw them in the chat. I would say tasks are one of the things I didn't get to touch on today, but I do really think are useful and helpful when you're trying to keep track of, hey, do I need somebody to help me with the agenda? Can someone upload that document? Can someone have a chat with this trustee just to ensure that they're going to be there? Tasks are really, really super helpful. As our actually the people section is maybe the last thing that I'll show. The people section is essentially a small database of all of the users that you have in the system. And so every single person, there's a number of things that you can actually look at for them that you can store. We have custom user fields. So if you want to create your own fields for a person and keep that about them, you can do that. You can see their terms, you can see their contact info. We actually have a couple of other products that go with are part of our boardable packages, surveys and forms. We actually have a data form that you can build to say, I want to get this from every new user. And when you send that to them, they fill that information out so you don't have to, which is really, really helpful. And then if they have any completed forms like a conflict of interest form or a background check that they or something that they've attested to, that would show up in this section as well, where, hey, we've sent you some governance forms and you've sent them back to us. So I know that was a lot. I haven't been monitoring the chat, so I'm sure there are potentially some questions. But I really appreciate you guys sitting through the demo. Boardable is very deep. We have a lot of functionality, but we really do pride ourselves on being very accessible, very usable, very flexible. And I think you've gotten to see a little bit of that today, and how that hopefully can help you execute on your mission and support your board. All right, Lauren, I think you might be on mute.
Yep. Thanks, Cody.
No worries.
Yeah, so Cody, thanks for sharing that great review. So many of you may be thinking, what does moving to Boardable look like? So one of the big things, obviously, is we want to set you up for success. So we'll offer training for both staff and trustees, alongside ongoing support from our dedicated and experienced team. So as you think about getting started, just ensuring continued compliance is, of course, top of mind. Obviously, you have a lot of documents on your public website. So how do we ensure that we get all of that moved over to Boardable? So that's why Boardable will assist with the data migration, just to be sure that all of your historical meeting documents, policies, all of those things are accessible to both your Boardable users as well as members of the public. So basically bringing everything over from wherever you have it stored currently into Boardable, so that when you get started, everything is there without, any interruption in all of those documents being live. So I think that's all that we mostly have to share today. So we're going to open it up for questions now. Feel free to drop those in the chat or in the question box. Happy to answer any of those. And just kind of as a touch point, wanted to let you know that Maddie and John from our team will be at the upcoming CCLC annual convention. So those of you in California, definitely be sure to stop by and see us, and we'd love to connect with you. But yeah, so let's see what questions we have here.
So Lauren, I definitely have the first one, which is Michelle. Michelle asked a question about approval tree for items. And I believe that you're referring to agenda items. Yes, we do have this plan. We're planned on this for Q1. We're going to be implementing an approval tree. We're actually going to do a bunch of agenda work, and this is going to be part of it, just to continue to innovate around agendas. We think there are improvements we can make, but we have seen, as we've worked with more community colleges and more folks who've come over from board docs, you can do a lot of the approvals with tasks and messaging, but we think that there's an elegant way for us to set up the approval tree within the agenda. So we're working on that right now, and our target is, and our quarters they start February forward. So we start on a February 1 start date. So we're looking at February, March timeline to be working on it. And hopefully by end of Q1, we're hoping to have the approval tree up and ready to go. Pricing information, Lauren?
Yep. So pricing information, what we can do is I'll connect with you and share some more details over. I can send you an email after this call with what that looks like. So pricing is customized to what your needs are based on plan type and number of people that'll need to be inside of your account. So would be happy to share that over after this call.
Yeah, we also have we one of the things we pride ourselves on is transparency. And so when like we have pricing available on our website, which a lot of our competitors won't have on there. Now, obviously, as Lauren said, like we work with everyone about, you know, what's right for them. And so, but if you want to get an idea, we do have pricing on the website.
It looks like there was also a question around mobile app. We do have a mobile app that is available. I highly recommend it. I use it myself. So definitely would love to share a bit about that. So you can basically access anything from the mobile device, whether it be attend meetings, review board materials for an upcoming meeting, place a vote. So it's a great way to kind of reach board members, bringing it to their fingertips, or even as a staff member, being able to stay informed. It does offer Face ID, so that's again easy, and push notifications.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. I had it on my notes for my demo. I showed you guys today the web app, and so the web app is very standard. If you're sitting at your desk, it opens in a browser. It's very easy to use. We also have a desktop app, and so the desktop app works on Windows machines. If you had some need to standardize, you wanted to roll it out and control who had access to it, you could do that. It's not common, but it's not uncommon for our customers to want to use the desktop app. It sort of depends on the organization. And then, yes, we have the mobile app as well. Mobile web works really nicely, so you can pull up our web app on your mobile phone, just like you can open up any website. But our mobile app does have those features that Lauren just mentioned. And one of the things I like best about it is it maintains your session. So if you're unlocking your phone, you'll actually be able to get into the app more quickly. And those push notifications will just continue to come in as you have meetings or as you have tasks or deadlines or discussions. And so I really like the mobile app. I use it probably every day just to keep track of meetings that are coming up. And then I do a lot of my actual, like the meeting itself, I do within Boardable on my desktop on a in the browser. But we have plenty of folks who also join meetings and participate using their mobile app. Both are very capable.
I think that may cover all of the questions here. If there are any last minute questions or thoughts, feel free to drop them into the chat. As mentioned, we will be sending over a follow-up email. It will include the recording of this call. If you have additional questions, feel free to send that over to our team. And Maddie and I will look forward to connecting afterwards and kind of furthering the conversation if that's something that you'd like to explore. And definitely keep an eye out for updates as we continue to add new functionality to the public site, like Cody had mentioned.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We really appreciate your participation.
Thank you.